Hi, this is Carl from Lingua. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year. But also what I'm wanting to do in this particular video is to give language learners out there some information as regards how they can become encouraged to start to learn a new modern foreign language, or what they can do in order not to become despondent about learning one foreign language. For those of you who don't know much about me, my name is Carl and I'm a teacher of German, Spanish and also English as a foreign language. I also work as an independent researcher into means and methodologies of effectively learning modern foreign languages and ways in which those can be learnt quickly and effectively. So as I said, what I'm wanting to do is to make use of this opportunity to record a number of parts which will make up this video as regards the methodologies which you can use, and also some of the products in order to become more proficient in any modern foreign language which you may be studying or which you may be thinking about studying in the near future. As I say, I work both as a teacher, an occasional translator, and as a researcher into means of effective modern foreign language learning. And in addition to being a teacher of the languages which I studied at university, German was my first modern foreign language in 1993, followed then by Spanish in 1996. And then I taught English as a modern foreign language to people in Spain, having started out that in 2003. Mainly gained experience in teaching English to non-native speakers of the language, and developed an appreciation of the difficulties which non-native speakers of English have found as regards the idiosyncrasies and complicated aspects of the English language, and tried to help them as far as possible in mastering these and gaining linguistic proficiency in English. After all, our language is the world language, as it were, and the one in which most people have gained linguistic proficiency, especially those who work for foreign companies and are required to associate with people from other countries, let's say in Germany, France, or even further afield in China and Japan. Obviously, it's a common and accepted fact that the majority of non-native speakers of English who work for multinational companies are indeed able to speak English. But what I want to do as well is just to tell you a little bit more about Lingua and what it stands for. When I first started to work as a student teacher in 2005, although I had started teaching as early as 2004, having held a post as a student teacher as early as 1999, I gained my first full-on experience as a student teacher in 2005 when I taught Spanish and German at different beginners levels in mainstream education, and right away I saw just how quickly the number of people who had enrolled on the courses had plummeted within the first few weeks of those courses starting. I then began to realise just how the structure and the methodology of the courses was failing the students and not responding properly to their needs. And it was also evident that even after, let's say, between 30 and 36 weeks of anyone starting out to learn the Spanish language or the German language for the first time, after 30 to 36 weeks wasn't able to even string a sentence together, and therefore this prompted me to delve into and explore the reasons as to why this was the case, and also look at, analyse and evaluate some of the reasons as to why the methodologies which were being used in mainstream education weren't working. And what I decided to do in June 2005 was to learn a third modern foreign language, and that language was French. Mainly to see, I think, from the outset whether I was able to acquire a third month foreign language after having studied German and Spanish more or less simultaneously in secondary school, at college and then at university, side by side for so many years, whether it was possible after having dedicated so much time and so many years to learning just 2 month foreign languages, whether it was indeed possible for me to gain eventual proficiency in a third month foreign language. And what I started out by doing was to listen to Michel Thomas teaching French. Michel Thomas was a renowned Polish psychologist and had a polyglot, having opened up language schools in the United States following the Second World War. And what Michel Thomas enabled me to do was to realise that we needn't have any reservations about learning a modern foreign language, because obviously as we're growing up learning our own modern foreign language, we have no reservations about doing that, especially because we're very young, and as children we don't doubt our own ability to remember things. We're very inquisitive, we ask questions, and we don't develop any form of hesitation throughout that learning process. And the Michel Thomas methodology helps anyone who is interested in modern foreign language learning, regardless of their age, to adopt an attitude whereby they're not led into a mindset whereby they have to think that they're unable to remember, and even if they're unable to remember, then there is no reason whatsoever as to why this failure to remember should cause any form of embarrassment, since that embarrassment then forms part of a vicious circle whereby if we're unable to remember, then we blame ourselves for that, and then this prevents us from being able to erase any doubts as regards our ability to remember and construct sentences without having to doubt that throughout the construction of any sentence we might forget some words, which then might, if we were to forget some of the words, wouldn't lead to the other person who we're trying to communicate with understanding what we're needing to say. What I'll do is I'll just break it off there and leave that as part 1 and continue in part 2. As I say, what this will be is a multiple part video which will be brought together to make up a full set. And as I said, just because it's nearing the end of the year, I thought with a bit of time on my hands I would just spend an hour or 90 minutes or so just talking about the methodologies which I've used and the research which I've carried out in order to help both myself and other people to gain proficiency in modern foreign languages and to gain the confidence that they are indeed able to learn proficiently if they wish to do so, without anybody using a teaching strategy or teaching strategies and leading them for whatever reason to believe that they don't have a knack for modern foreign languages, since after all the ability to spur somebody on and learn effectively lies in an understanding of the individual's own learning styles, own preferred learning styles, and also in the teacher's ability to simplify any methodologies and approaches to language learning as far as possible.